At the end of January, I stopped using my planner. Within 1 week, I found out a friend who was 32 and had been battling cancer for 3.5 years passed away. The week after, I found out my grandfather passed away. So, my priority was not to continue planning, but rather to kind of take a beat, take a moment, and understand how I felt. So while my beginning of my planner looked really coordinated, organized, over the next several weeks, I kept it more minimal. I wrote some things around what I wanted to do, how I wanted to work, but truthfully, I couldn't find myself in a spot to record or share it. So I'm going to walk through just kind of what I want to do this week as I look to not necessarily coming back to my planner, but making a more intentional use of my planner. Today is March 9th, daylight savings. I went to lunch with my mom, which was great. She came into the city. We went to this amazing Palestinian restaurant in the Upper East Side called Al Badawi. And if you are in Upper East Side, definitely go. Their food is so good. Then we spent the afternoon thrifting. We found some like copper pots, like a tea kettle. It was all very fun and just nice to spend the time with her. I'm sitting now this afternoon planning and updating my calendar. Looking back at an empty week or several empty weeks, less than used weeks, can be kind of discouraging. But when I think about how life is, how plans are, nothing is always 100%. And some days and some weeks, you don't have it in you to make use of it. I think with the planner, I really have enjoyed being able to find the moments where I'm just gonna do a day or a couple days ahead. And if I come back to it next week and I'm energized to do more later, that's great. For this upcoming week, I always want to start with the focus. So after writing in the dates, I want to put a very intentional focus. So this week's focus, I want to say it is back to planning videos. Let's be really clear. I'm going to come back into making this more of a habit, providing updates, and also kind of just sharing the different spreads that I'm using. I feel like sometimes it changes, right? Like this week, I really want to focus on creating a habit of making the videos and making time for self-care. So I like to start my planning with my obligations. And because I work a 9-to-5 job, my obligations are my 9-to-5. 40-ish hours I work every week. Some days and some weeks are a little extended. I'm getting into a period of time where I might be extending some hours. So all to say, I can work up to 50 or 60 hours if it is called for. And how I plan to do this, and honestly, like how I like to just like flex my schedule because I work on a global and remote team and have that flexibility, is to do like a 8 to like 7 Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday kind of start to slope away. So in total sum, that like minimum is 40, and ideally I can kind of piece out on a Friday. But if I need to work that 50 hours or even more, I'm really setting myself up where I can flex early in the week to do more later or earlier, or just have the later days to work. Part of how I also work, because I am in a learning and development team, is I prioritize an hour of learning every day. And sometimes this is reading a book, listening to a podcast, doing a online training or virtual instructor-led training. This week I have a couple virtual instructor-led trainings and one employee resource group event. It is Women's History Month, and my company has various events that are hosted. This one that is being hosted this year is that I'm going to this week is Investing in Career, a journey of growth and learning. Feels right, feels applicable for learning and development. So let's start with early meetings. Using my trusty color coding system and my creative markers by Zebra, I'll do that. My earliest meeting is on Tuesday at 7:30. Friday, I have just professional development. So if I did just kind of my bare minimum, I don't have a lot, but what's surrounding the work this week is just blocks of focus time that I'll need to carve out. I'll get to that later, but I mentioned I start with my priorities, and one of my priorities is my mentoring that I do with a nonprofit called iMentor. It is phenomenal. It is also around the United States, so wherever you are, check to see if you have iMentor. If 7 to 7:30 is my mentoring. I travel to the Bronx, which takes me about an hour, and then after an hour as well. Thankfully, they do serve dinner, so I'm very excited for that. And then I also have tickets to a museum on Friday, so let me go into my personal calendar. Really dumb. Social. I also on Sunday am hanging out with friends, so I'm gonna take just this amount of time because why not? Unstructured playtime needs to also be planned for, right? Maybe not. Saturday, I think I'm gonna go hang out and do a fun activity with a friend, so we'll see. But we'll keep it open. We'll keep things moving. I also have my payday, so I definitely want to schedule some financial planning time. I think what I'll do is on Friday morning, I will make some time between 8:30 and 9. We'll do financial planning. That's also where I will do my HSA reimbursement. I wrote that like for 4 weeks in a row. I actually have to do it now. Through my FSA. I used to have an HSA. Now I have FSA. I could definitely go into like my basic understanding of this, but I'm not a professional finance person, so don't listen to me. Let's also make time for lunch, understanding what we have for lunch. I'm gonna take this yellow. 1 to 2. Sorry, I'm gonna keep 1:30 to 2. I also do breakfast. I think this week I'm gonna start doing an early morning routine. I'm gonna do 7 or 7:30. With daylight savings, I'm just feeling like I can get up a little bit earlier. 2 of these days I do want to go for a walk, so let me check the weather. Some days it'll be beautiful, some days it won't. Okay, so Monday and Tuesday and Sunday, we're looking at highs of 63. I'm actually gonna pencil these temps in because I like looking back when I do look back to see like how warm things were or like what the weather was generally. If this is the forecast and the actual turns out to be different, I feel like getting to a point where I can actually be like, oh yeah, like I thought it was gonna be cloudy and cold on Saturday, but it turned out to be rainy and warm like it'll be on Sunday. So 63 degrees, and this is rain, which sucks because I actually wanted to hang out with my friends. Well, I'll do my hair maybe on Thursday. That means I have to wash my hair on Monday. So now I'm going to do this in pencil kind of in the similar vein of why I do the weather in pencil. It will change. This is just a forecast, but it's nice to kind of have it outlined, and if I come back and want to rearrange it, that's great. I do want to be really conscious and consistent about breakfast and lunch. Dinner always, I feel like, changes on how I feel and what that looks like. Actually, what I need to do, I need to grocery shop, grocer and meal prep. I need to think about what I want to eat. Oh, I'm going to a comedy show. I think this, not till 5:30. This is actually going to be until that. Let me see if I want to do a happy hour. I think, yeah, there's activities. This is museum with friends. Here. Sorry, that's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5, 6, 7, 8, 9.5. So 9.5 there. And then I can do essentially a block. Between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. We have this as our base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I won't do 10. Eating. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think after Thursday, I should do a happy hour. Although I have stopped drinking. So I think I want to do a dinner. Then I'll do a happy hour. I want to read, so I'm going to bring a book on the train. I'm going to take a 15-minute break to read during this day, and then I'm going to read maybe for 2 hours here. I watched White Lotus, so I'm definitely going to put White Lotus. Freaking love, 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 love. And okay, so where are we? We have 10 hours, 9 hours, and this is where I'll flex, because Friday currently I don't have too much. As work starts to move, I feel very confident and comfortable with being able to move some of these meetings out later, or being able to prioritize and reprioritize the time. So if the block here is right now meant for one meeting, if something changes and I need to change that, move it, I like to kind of keep this open so that I can come kind of throughout the week and write in those details. Obviously for these last weeks, as I mentioned, I haven't been adding a lot of detail, but in my best form, that's kind of what I would like to do. So yeah, we haven't seen that detail be out here just yet. But after I think about this, I've recognized, yeah, the FSA reimbursement is a to-do. I need to run some Poshmark orders to the mail office to file a ticket dispute. I got a parking ticket or my financial review, so that my mini financial review. Trackers that I have in the back of the book. I don't feel like I can do it now, but I know I need to do it, so I'm just gonna write it down. And that's kind of what the planner is used for, right? It's to try to plan. Life will happen, things will change. Putting what you have in your brain on paper, for me, has been a very, very nice and useful way to organize, and I get a lot more done, while also knowing that I don't have to do it the same way every time. So I invite you to also do that.